Welcome to SwitchCorner, my name is Alex and today we're taking a look at Soundfall on the Nintendo Switch. A rhythm-based dungeon crawler, is it worth your cash? And how does this combination of genres work? Well, hit subscribe, join us here on SwitchCorner for reviews and deals near daily, and let's get started. Soundfall, then it starts off with a simplistic enough storyline. You are a young woman, you have a passion for music, and you've been accepted to appear on what I presume is a talent show that's pretty popular in this world. Unfortunately, you can't make it though, even if your friends are pushing you to attend. The issue here, you can't get cover for work and you need that job. Well, that day you stick your headphones on and the next thing you know, you're transported to what is another world known as Symphonia, the place where music is created. There is a problem here too though. Evil forces, they are taking over, threatening all music. Now the locals here agree, you help them fight back, they'll help you get back home. It's decent enough, nice little message I guess to wrap things up, and as you do progress, you will meet new characters along the way, whether it's NPCs or even playable. Gameplay then, and as I opened, dungeon crawler and rhythm games here meet. What that essentially means is you can only attack on the beat of the music if you do want your strongest attack. In fact, if you miss the beat too many times, you may find yourself with an overheated weapon awaiting a cooldown to wear off, a particularly trying situation when a wave of enemies they're flowing towards you. At first, this will honestly prove for many a little demanding. I mean, even our dash, which provides invincibility or jumps, that needs to be in time too. It just takes, some practice. So yeah, think about it, you're moving around the screen with the left stick, you're rotating your character with the right, and aiming of course at the same time, then you're matching the beat with the fire and the dash. It's a somewhat new collection of muscle memories that you will need to process. I've played a lot of rhythm games as well over the years, and I definitely stumbled my way through the opening couple of stages. As I did start to get into it though, I really started to enjoy the idea. It's no question unique, and it starts to play into the strategy as different levels are accompanied with different tracks of varying speed. It's also rewarding you for beating them before the track is over and another loop begins. It's a game that instantly latches onto that high score mentality, and it packs different difficulties as well. An area I did not expect with Soundfall though was its use of loot. It's a key factor of the game and there's a whole lot of it to uncover. There's a ton of different weapons, different equipment, all of varying levels. Often this will do things like impact fire speed or the spread of your bullets or maybe your protection. And yeah, jumping from level to level, I was always heading to inventory to see what new goodies awaited me. The loop here can be seen as beat the level, get rewarded with a big old chest. So opening the game then, we start with our lead Melody, but new characters appear as well and each has their own unique skill set. This changes in a few ways. Their melee attack will be different, and then there is what we call our ultimate attack. This is a particularly useful skill in overwhelming moments as it tends to do, massive damage. Our first hero, for example, has a spin attack. Our second introduced, they have a big old slam with an axe. He is basically doing a destructive superhero landing. When it comes to syncing the audio as well, you actually might notice some difficulty in the footage. The stream card I use causes a very slight delay, so I played the majority on my TV, but you do get built in here an audio and video latency option. It basically does calibration alongside you and it can be accessed at any time. It's a quick 30-second setup, and I would absolutely recommend every time you reopen the game, quickly check it out. Works well though. You can also then add a metronome sound if you're struggling to identify where the beat is. Problems then for gameplay, we do see some slowdown in larger locations. I wouldn't describe it as minor personally, but it can definitely impact you when you're focusing on so much at once. Do want to stress though here, nothing incredible and far from frequent, but it is there. Then as the game progresses, the strategy, it can get pretty tough in the sense the music is slow, the enemy count is high. You really need to think about the gun type you are using and how you are going to take down maybe multiple at once. Basically, I wouldn't call it a problem, but it can move slightly away from simply running and gunning. With 10 worlds then and 10 stages in each, I did feel repetition started to kick in. For me, it outstayed its welcome just a bit, and it's going to be best enjoyed in small bites. You actually get 2 modes here, though, story and free play, and I ended up leaning towards the latter by the end game because I could basically make sure the visual variety was changing quite a bit quicker. You see the way the game is structured, the first world is, let's say, jungle, then ice, and so on. So you're doing 10 levels in very similar looking locations, and I was definitely getting burnout. That's the beauty of free play though, you can choose any song, any level you want and put them in any order you want as well. That definitely keeps things fresh, and I think the design work, the idea makes sense of structuring it, location by location, but it doesn't necessarily provide, the most thrilling of experiences. Overall though, for gameplay, I didn't have high expectations and I've actually walked away pretty impressed. The gameplay is solid, it's got some unique mechanics, and for the most part it's definitely well implemented. Throw in then the fact it's packing a huge amount of levels, quests which are simply achievements, and even then local and online multiplayer, and there is plenty in here to keep you busy. Graphics then, and this is the reason I didn't go in with high hopes after seeing the trailer. It couldn't be more bland looking to me. Sure, there's some nice ideas, the environments move for example and react to the music, but yeah, it just looks pretty boring honestly. The levels are kind of stereotypical, and for a game packing so much personality in its story and its gameplay, comes as a bit of a shock. I'd also at the same time never call the visuals bad though honestly, just uninspired, and that's not only these worlds, but the enemies in particular. It's mostly the same foes rotating. We have the grunts, the dog-like creatures, some that are slightly larger that do body slams. It's like they used up all of their creative juice and it begins to then rely on simply colour swaps. Where it does impress visually though, I liked some of the character and enemy animations. You can see them bopping along to the music, and then also the occasional cutscene and dialogue exchanged. These are accompanied by some great animations or even just some really stunning static hand-drawn characters. Audio then, and there's some decent sound effects in here for weapons, environmental pieces and enemies, but the real focus of course is the music, and I think there's definitely a decent enough variety in here that most will find something to enjoy. That said, do not come here for think too much in the way of the heavier side of the music world. It's more pop, EDM, and that needs to be something you can listen to. A lot of the artists then are actually ones I'm familiar with, but I don't believe a wider audience typically would be. It's a whole lot of tracks that YouTube channels like mine actually pay to use in the backgrounds of our videos. Then there's a fair few that have been composed specifically for the game as well. Don't discount them though because it's not chart topping, there's some real good stuff in here. One noticeable missing audio then, the lack of voice acting. With its audio design and that being a key focus, I think this would have been a nice final touch to really top it all off. So the final verdict, and once I got over the bland visual design, I've actually really enjoyed my time with this one. The gameplay is unique, it works well. I enjoyed the music and the loot and difficulty options. They led me to the world of kind of high score chasing. There's also then some secrets to uncover and quests which again are essentially achievements, but they keep you coming back. Basically, there's a lot of game in here. For many, the sticking point though will be the price point, $30 or your regional equivalent. It is not a cheap game, but rhythm games, traditionally they never are. It's a fact of licensing music does not come cheap, and I'm sure even without chart toppers that's still not the case. With all that said then, a good 7 out of 10 from me today. It could definitely be more inspired in some areas, but there's no question still it's gameplay, unique and a refreshing change of pace. Will you be adding this one to the library then or holding onto that cash? A shout out then to the patrons of the channel who are going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch, as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.